Okay, so hello everyone, welcome back to NBA Pickup. Today is February 23rd, and we're going to go over some of the games I watched today. Before I get started, I watched the Warriors versus Knicks, a part of the Celtics and Mavs game. I didn't watch the fourth quarter of that one though, and then watched part of the Raptors versus Sixers game, and then I got most of the Denver versus Portland game that just happened. So we'll just start off with the Warriors and the Knicks because I paid the most attention to this game. So first things first. Today, All-Star reserves were announced, and Julius Randle happened to be one of them for the East. So I got to watch him today, and although he shot not particularly well, his impact on the game was just big. He was a minus 21, but that's besides the point. The way he's like, I don't want to say compare him to like a Ben Simmons or Draymond Green, where like you got like a power forward, but he can pass the ball, and that's what Julius Randle kind of is. And watching him play and facilitate is actually pretty cool because he's good at finding the open man, and there's not many big men like Julius Randle who can do that. He's definitely special talent. Definitely deserves to be an all-star. Obviously, there's a lot of players who were snubbed, including Domantas Sabonis, who plays the same position as Julius Randle. But honestly, either way, both of them would have been fine there. And there's always going to be all-star snubs every single year. So it's just gonna happen. And this year, Julius Randle lucked out by the coaches. Another thing I wrote down, Obi Toppin played well tonight. He's very good. He should be getting more than 13 minutes tonight, to be honest. Um, like he needs to be out there a lot more than 13 minutes, especially if this guy, I don't remember what he was, like the 8th pick or something like that. He's got to get more minutes than 13. Same with Emmanuel Quickly. Alfred Payne had a pretty good night, which is probably why Emmanuel Quickly's minutes were down. And Derrick Rose, obviously, he's on the team, so he played 27 minutes. Derrick Rose is still very good. His floater game is amazing still. I guess that's one thing that doesn't hurt because of his injuries is his floater game, because that doesn't really rely on athleticism as much. So his ability to get inside the paint and then throw up a little teardrop, a floater right over the defender is it's just amazing. And he still got that in his bag. He's amazing at it. No one can stop it, basically. Next thing I wrote down, the Warriors cannot get long rebounds. Like, literally every single time the Knicks took a three-point shot, they missed, it would go right back to them. Just the long rebounds went right back to the Knicks. And watching that was a little frustrating as a Warriors fan because you're like, well, you contest the player's shot, you should be able to get the rebound, you think, because you could box out the shooter or something. But no, that did not happen at all this game. The Knicks got a lot of offensive rebounds. They had 18, which is a lot of offensive rebounds, and that needs to go down by the next game for the Warriors. Also, I wrote the Warriors' second unit sucks. If you just look at the plus minus here, you can tell that the Knicks bench unit, they are all in the positives. And if you were to look at the Warriors, they're all in the negatives. Coincidence? No, it's not. This whole bench unit that the Warriors have going on is not working out right now. James Wiseman, his first game back in I think like 2 weeks. Same with Looney, both played well. But like the bench unit has been struggling the past couple games, and it's been a little painful to watch. Bazemore's the only one who's been like pretty okay, and everyone else has just not been playing well. Damian Lee hasn't scored more than like 6 points in what seems like forever. Eric Pascal's been super inconsistent. Brad Wanamaker takes like 3 shots a game and he only makes one of them. And then I don't even remember. Juan Toscano Anderson was the other guy. He was okay, but the bench unit today for the Warriors was just horrible outside of Wiseman and maybe Bazemore. So that's something that the Warriors need to work on is that second unit needs to play better. Also, Damian Lee only played 8 minutes, so I don't remember him. I just remember him coming in the second quarter. Don't remember him coming in the second half. Don't know what happened with him, if I can talk. Next thing I wrote, there's a lot of Knicks fans, it seems like. The Madison Square Garden, this was the first time I've watched the game in New York, so wow, can I talk? The crowd was very loud. Maybe it was the mics or something that the commentators had or whatever, but you could hear them chanting like MVP whenever Julius Randle was shooting free throws, or they were chanting defense when their team was on defense. And I think there was like a couple times where the Warriors would, like, Steph would carry the ball or do a travel, and then you could hear the crowd react in a certain way. So I mean, that's just cool, I guess. So, yeah, fun time for fans in New York. Next thing I wrote, this was in the first half. The Warriors must be paying off the refs this game. Like, the 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 calls the Warriors were getting was very ticky tacky. Like you'd be like, I don't really know if that's a foul. Like, and that's what happened this game, and there was a lot of fouls that weren't really fouls, and the Warriors got away with like a few travels or carries or whatever. So the Warriors lucked out in the first half, but the calls would kind of go back to the Knicks in the second half, which I guess is fine, but it's just super inconsistent, so that's annoying for all fans of the game. I said Draymond needs to make easier passes and stop forcing things. He had 12 assists tonight, if I am correct. Yeah, 3 turnovers, so 4-to-1 ratio. It's not that bad, but there were 1 or 2 passes where Draymond just threw it like in the middle of traffic, and I was like, why are you even trying to pass the ball over there when there's no shot of that pass going through at all? So that's something I noted in the Magic game, but Draymond still does Draymond things, and that's whatever. Next thing I wrote, Nerlens Noel is good. He's just good at basketball. Very good interior defender, pretty good rebounder. Can dunk the ball, so that's pretty cool. Next thing I wrote, why did Oubre try to... Oh, yeah. This might have been the second or third quarter, I can't remember, but I think Steph got a steal, threw up a three-pointer, missed, and then it was like Oubre and Julius Randle, and Oubre tried to do a putback dunk, except he was like at the free throw line, and he tried to jump over Julius Randle and dunk it. Like, just grab the ball out of the air next time. Don't try to dunk it when you're like 40 feet away from the basket. Voice crack. But yeah, I didn't understand that. Anyways, next thing I wrote, nice to have Looney and Wiseman back. It's been a while since the Warriors had a center, so it was cool to see our team dunk the basketball. Next thing I wrote, why does Wanamaker even get minutes? Yeah, pretty self-explanatory. Why does he get minutes? Like, he doesn't do anything. I don't see like his impact on the court. He's not like a floor general like Draymond Green or Rajon Rondo, where he like directs traffic and he tells where people to go. Like, the man had 2 assists tonight. Like, cool, I guess. 2 points on 1 for 2 shooting. Like, his impact on the game is just like nothing. Like, he just goes out there and he runs around and dribbles. Like, that's about it. Yeah, and then in the fourth quarter, both teams just could not make a shot. I think at the end of the fourth, both teams shot 5 for 20 in the fourth quarter. And it was not like, very good defense. It was good defense, but there was like a whole lot of, bro, you were wide open and you just bricked it. So that happened a lot in the fourth quarter for both teams. And then, the last thing I wrote, officiating is inconsistent. Please don't favor the Warriors in the first half and then the Knicks in the second half. Just make it consistent the whole 48. Because that was slightly annoying. I can tell that the Knicks fans were not happy in the first half. And Warrior fans may have not been as happy in the second half, especially in the last couple minutes of the game, where Taj Gibson kept on going to the free throw line because Looney was literally trying to play defense. I don't know, it was bad, but yeah. All right, next game. We're gonna move on to the Celtics and Mavericks. Again, I didn't watch the last fourth quarter because the Warriors game was going on, and I would rather watch my own team play basketball instead of this very intense game. But yeah, that's besides the point. Luka Doncic is very good at basketball, by the way, which I will say later. So, when I was watching the game, I was actually watching spontaneously the Warriors game, this Celtics Mavericks game, and then the Raptors and Sixers. And I think if you follow Worldwide Rob Perez on Twitter, I think he tweeted out a few weeks ago saying the NBA needs to do something about all these good games happening at the same time, like the Warriors Knicks game, 8-point game, this Raptors Sixers game was a 7-point game, and then this Boston Dallas game went down to the wire. And it's just all three games all started at the same time, all end around the same time. And it's difficult for a fan to watch all the good games. I don't really know how many people want to watch Detroit versus Orlando or Atlanta versus Cleveland. Just being honest. But the games, the scheduling needs to be a little bit better. That's just my point. But back onto the Mavericks Celtics game, just a few notes I wrote in the first half. Josh Richardson was super good in the first half. I think he ended the half at 6 for 8 shooting. I think he had 2 or 3 3-pointers or something like that. Yeah, he had 2 3-pointers in the first half, so that was good to see because he's been struggling all season long. I also wrote Kemba and Payne Pritchard could not buy a basket that first half. They both struggled. Hey man, what's wrong with Kemba Walker? This guy was supposed to be not, I don't want to say replacement for Kyrie Irving, but he kind of was. He's the point guard, and Kyrie's also a point guard. But people were speculating that this team could definitely be a championship team if Kemba Walker came back as he did when he was with Charlotte, but he's been struggling, and that's tough for Celtics and the Celtics fans. So I hope he can find his rhythm and hopefully put a string of good games together later this season, so then when the playoffs come around, he's ready to go. I also wrote Luka is good at basketball. His teammates are not. I think this is pretty obvious. Obviously, Porzingis didn't play, but even if he did, Porzingis low-key sucks. But we're going to pretend I didn't say that. James Johnson is starting. Are you serious? Can we get this man some help, please? This team has a lot of wing depth, though. Josh Richardson, Tim Hardaway Jr., Jalen Brunson, Trey Burke, all great guys on the perimeter. But yeah, Luka needs a little more help than just Josh Richardson and Boban. Boban. I mean, everyone else. Jalen Brunson played well. Watching him, I love watching Jalen Brunson play. He just knows the game so well. He had 22 points tonight. He's amazing. I like him. Probably one of my favorite players in the league right now. Yeah, Dorian Finney-Smith didn't get a single point. James Johnson starting for your team. Dwight Powell only played 11 minutes and had 4 points. But yeah, the Mavericks need to find a legit big man that can do all the dirty work inside, because Porzingis just does not cut it anymore. When you watch him play, he doesn't play aggressive. He's scared of getting injured, which is obviously understandable, but it can be tough to watch because he's not playing like he would in New York, where he oh yeah, this guy's 7'3", go post up everyone on the court, because he can, but he just chooses not to, which can be frustrating to watch. Any other takeaways from this game I have? Tatum and Brown had a pretty good game. Not from 3, but no one on the Celtics did, so. Hopefully the Celtics can figure out what's going on, because I have no idea what's going on. But anyways, I've been recording for 15 minutes now, so I need to get going on the rest of the games. So speed run, because I did not watch this game that much, because by the time I was watching this game in the first half, the Raptors were down by like 20 in the first quarter or something dumb like that. So I thought this game was over with. And I was like, there's no way I can watch 3 games at once. So I was just watching the Knicks game and the Celtics game. But yeah, looking at this, quick things. First thing I wrote, literally what is going on, because I did not know what was going on the entire game. Can someone please explain to me how Norman Powell just died, but gets a technical foul because he blatantly gets hit in the arm? I can't remember if this was I think it was the start of the third quarter. There was a jump ball on the Sixers side of the court. The Raptors win it. The ball goes up to Norman Powell at the half court. He goes for a dunk. Ben Simmons from behind tries to chase him down and get that chase down block. LeBron James type beat. Instead, he just smacks Norman Powell across the arms. There was no call. Norman Powell just goes down, hits the basket super hard. Looks like he just died. And there was no foul call. And then, as rightfully should, Norman Powell was pretty mad about it. Let the ref know about it, and the ref is like, nope. Technical foul. And so the Sixers got a free point off of that. But I was like, man, how do you not see that? You're from behind, so you have a good angle to see that. Ben Simmons clearly struck Norman Powell, on the arms. But that's something else. But yeah. I mean, when a guy falls down that hard, I don't think it was all ball. Just assuming, but it is what it is. I said Toronto had some pretty good defensive possessions in the third quarter, but Embiid bails the Sixers out some possessions. I think there was 2 possessions in a row where the Raptors forced the Sixers to use the full 24-second shot clock, and then I think on the second possession, Embiid ends up hitting a step back 3 or something like that, and just shows how good Joel Embiid is and why he is my MVP, even though he shot 3 for 13 this game. Well, we're going to ignore that, right, guys? Which means you guys should go watch my video that I put out earlier today. The NBA Awards video. You should go watch it and leave a like. Just like how you should leave a like on this video. Okay. On to Nuggets and the Trailblazers, if I can find it. I didn't watch any of the other games because I didn't care about them. But that's fine. My first thing I wrote, Melo created a time machine and just went back in time and just played out of his mind tonight. He had 24 points on 9 for 17 shooting. Carmelo Anthony has to probably be top 3 best mid-range shooters of all time. Maybe you could argue he's the best mid-range shooter of all time. The guy just, he gets the ball, he'll just start jab stepping for 80 seconds, and then he shoots a mid-range shot and goes in. Nothing but net. It's crazy. And it's beautiful to watch. I love watching mid-range shooters play basketball. It's a lot of fun. Okay, but other than that, Melo played well. Lillard had an okay game. Just throughout most of the game, Lillard either made crazy step back threes and pull up 3-pointers and stuff like that, or he just airballed it. No in between. He either makes it or airballs it. That's what happened this game. Gary Trent Jr. had a good game, 18 points. He's been picking up his role well once McCollum went down, so that was good for him. I wrote Jokic mismatch because Kanter's a liability on defense, and that is a fact. And as Kanter sucks at defense, there's just no other things about that. There's no other big man on this team with Zach Collins and Nurkic down, so Kanter's the only center on this team, the only legit big guy on this team. So he has to guard Jokic, which sucks, because Jokic is probably one of the most offensively talented big men in our era, so I think Jokic had almost 40 points. He 39 points, 40 points or something like that. Yeah, 41. Big man himself. But yeah, Kanter's horrible in pick and roll situations because he's so slow. Like Murray and Jokic pick and rolls are just undefeated against Enes Kanter because Kanter cannot. Kanter usually drops on these screens, and since Jokic and Murray can both shoot, it's not wise to drop. But he's too slow to keep up with Murray if there's a switch, or if Jokic rolls to the basket. Kanter's too slow to recover, which sucks because there's no other big man on this team that can guard Jokic. I mean, no big man can guard Jokic, but Kanter is probably the worst defending center in the league. But yeah, okay. Murray had a big fourth quarter. I think Jamal Murray, I was watching, and the guy said he was like 1 for 9, and then he just went off in the fourth quarter. He went like 6 for 10 or something. I don't know. I can't do math very well, so someone tell me if that's right. Just hitting shot after shot. At one point, he had like 3 big shots in a row, 2 from 3 and like a long 2, and he was just going off in the fourth, which was much needed for the Nuggets when they needed, which was needed the most in that fourth quarter. Dame and Melo both had 3-pointers at the end of the game to bring them within like 6 or something, but it was too late at that point. But it was still cool to see them try to make a comeback. And then at the end of the game, I wrote, why didn't Dame just hold on to the ball instead of complaining to the ref? Because I think it was Murray was being double teamed by, I don't know, like Derrick Jones Jr. and Damian Lillard. And then Lillard had possession with the ball with Jamal Murray. And they were both holding onto the ball, which it was going to be a jump ball. But the refs, I guess, anticipated a foul, so they didn't call the jump ball. But then, like, after a second of Lillard holding the ball, he like turns around, throws his hands up, looking like, "Hey yo, where's the jump ball call?" And it never came. So then they had to foul him. But I was like, couldn't you just hold on to the ball until they do call a jump ball? Like, why would you just stop? You know, I didn't really get it, but yeah, that's besides the point. Campazzo is probably the best passer in NBA history, no cap. Better than John Stockton, Steve Nash, Magic Johnson. Best passer ever. Zeke Nnaji, I think is how you pronounce it, is amazing. Probably best 3-point shooter of all time. I don't know, I'm kidding. But his shot form is beautiful. Probably top 5 in the league right now. I don't know. Any takeaways from this game? No, not really. The Blazers are missing a big man. Desperately defending big man. Yeah, and Covington sucks. But other than that, that's it. Leave a like on the video for this 23-minute long, unedited, unscripted video. Very cool. Yeah, leave a like. Subscribe to the channel for more NBA content like this in the future. And go watch my NBA awards video I uploaded today. It should be coming up on your screen in about 3, 2, 1. Just kidding, I'm not going to time it. I think it's going to pop up now. But other than that, guys, hope you enjoy the video. And goodbye.